All right, hello and welcome everybody. This is our first cast from Alchemy League Season 8. The theme of Alchemy League Season 8, for those of you who do not know, is A Million Ways to Die in the Middle Ages. So let's go and take a look quickly at what's different, what are we doing different, and I'll actually explain some of my thoughts about it. So we're here at the Season 8 webpage. You can see a number of featured maps. Ooh, that's very mysterious. The theme is A Million Ways to Die in the Middle Ages, but it doesn't really tell you much more than that. Everything else here is pretty standard. And don't look down here because of spoilers. Let's just go into the handbook. So the big thing that I wanted to show you guys is we'll come over here to the map properties. So this is Plan C. We had a number of different ideas of what to do for Alchemy League Season 8. And it sort of evolved into this. We had first the New York maps, and then we were going to go to Alaska. Then we were going to do the best of Alchemy League, and most of those were Alaska. So then we were going to go to Alaska, and I decided we wanted to add some more locations for an Alaska map pack, and we didn't really want to rush it. So then we changed it again, and then it finally became the recycling of 12 standardish classic Age of Empires 2 maps. We've added the MWDMA prefix in front of them, and A Million Ways to Die in the Middle Ages, that's all that means, and these are 12. I sort of picked these are 12 diverse maps from the original Age of Conquerors, but they were modified in a certain way. They had their rules changed where they could be changed. And the settings for this season of the league are such that we tried to maximize the number of non-exclusive win conditions. So here are the win conditions that we've got listed here. There's a monument, and if you control it until the time reaches 0, you win. If you destroy the enemy king, because there's kings too, you win. If you destroy your enemy's town center, that's a sudden death victory condition, you win too. And if you destroy the enemy's fortified tower, you also win. Now this fortified tower is not even in their town, it's far away, I'll show you. So that's a pain to defend. If you control all relics until the timer counts down, you win. And if you control a wonder for whatever reason, if you happen to build a wonder, and then the timer runs out, you win. So we changed these maps to really abort if you don't play these settings properly. Unfortunately, maps can't really detect whether or not standard victory condition is selected, but they can detect if sudden death is selected, they can detect if regicide is selected, they can detect whether or not you select King of the Hill mode to put the monument in the center, and they'll abort if the Empire Wars box is checked, meaning we're not doing Empire Wars. And they'll abort if the resources are not standard or low resources. So we did this to prevent players from accidentally playing without a monument or something like that. And then we also have some other rule changes. So this is Fortified Tower, and I'll show you guys here, an example. And this is from our first set. We haven't started spectating this yet, but Leon, for example, has his Fortified Tower in this location. It's essentially created from a second set of player lands, and it's at least 30 tiles away from his town center. I mean, it's going to depend on the radius ultimately, but it's pretty much clocked between, I would say, between 80 and 100 degrees apart from the player starting town center. And if this tower is destroyed, you win. So the hit points on this tower are random. The type of walls surrounding the tower are random. The tower will always have a barracks embedded into this wall, and it will always have a house. So to avoid being pop capped, because you start with a king, so if we didn't provide that house, then everybody would be pop capped at the start of the game. So you start with a king, a petard, and 3 villagers. And Leon's going to build 1 house instead of the usual 2. Anyway, we're not casting that. I just wanted to show that to you. So now we go back to the handbook here. And it breaks down the probabilities for you. So guys, it's important to remember that these maps, and you may get this throughout the course of the cast, these maps are taken from like the original Age of Conquerors classics, like right when DE first came out, before the maps really started getting a lot of scrutiny. DE started baking in all kinds of like quality of life improvements, and people found that they were able to micro stuff really well and control their economies very well, and that meant that the map was kind of the limiting factor in what was then preventing fairness, right? People didn't care as much about map unfairness in HD when you didn't have, for example, the technology queue up, or a lot of these like multiple waypoints or shift clicking or shift queuing rather, and all of that stuff. The monuments do not provide a bonus resource trickle. That would be pretty snowbally, so I removed that. And yeah, you guys saw the petard that players start with instead of a traditional scout. Okay, and it actually does give an example image of some of this stuff. So these maps might be a little bit unfair, but kind of our thinking, because we had so little time to develop them, but kind of our thinking was that they've got so many win conditions that people are going to be winning games before that unfairness really affects anything. So just bear that in mind. These maps are old school. Some people like that kind of stuff. I know we got a lot of old school clan signups, so I guess that means we must be doing something pretty old school. Alright, so anyway, Arabia, Archipelago, Arena, Black Forest, Continental, Gold Rush, Highland, Mongolia, Oasis, Rivers, Salt Marsh, and Yucatan. Those are the 12 options. Some of these have been more extensively reworked than others. For example, an arena map, you can't just put a tower out there in the middle of the arena because somebody's going to castle drop it, and whoever castle drops it first wins, right? So some of them we had to be a little bit more creative with, but others are pretty vanilla. Alright. Let's go into the seeding for this, the players. So we're going to come over here to seeding summary, and we can see all the way at the top we've got Niaz as usual. Now our cast today is going to look at Biscuits, and we're going to look at Leon here. So Biscuits is the lower seed. He's upper 1700s, and Leon is lower 1900s, okay, according to the seeding. So Biscuits is the underdog. But, again, crazy maps, anything can happen. All right, and then the other set that we're going to look at is Wizanatic up here at 2.2k and Ween Dinchester up here at 2.3k. So a pretty high-level battle here. All of these players are veteran players. All these guys have played in many seasons of Alchemy League before. So they're pretty experienced, and that experience can help out a lot. All right, so I don't think I have anything else to say about the settings or about the players. So we will take a look at the map draft for LaMarcus Laliette, aka Leon. The map of that round was Oasis, and then they took turns discarding maps until only one remained, and that was Million Ways to Die in the Middle Ages Salt Marsh. Okay, the Civilization draft consists of 5 random bans at the beginning by the admin, and then they each globally ban 2, and then they pick 3, snipe 1 from each other, and then pick 1 more. So Leon's civilizations are Burmese, Berbers, Georgians that he has available, and Biscuits has the Poles, the Cumans, and the Armenians available. Alright, let's get into it now. Now that we've spent more time explaining it than it will probably last, these games have on average been a bit quicker than previous seasons, just because there's so many different ways to die or to kill your opponent. So Biscuits coming over here and grabbing some sheep. This Oasis has a ton of extra sheep on it. Now you can scout with your king. You can scout with your petard too. You can use your petard to push deer, but you just got to be careful because the petard actually can blow up the deer. And we've had players accidentally click on their deer. Oh, whoops! I need to change the overlay here to focus on the game because you guys don't want to see me chatting. Oh, what's this? All right, so okay, so Biscuits comes over here and he steals some sheep. He's checking it out. Now he's got to be careful. This petard only has 25 attack, and the king has 75 HP. So the king cannot be killed by the petard. Although that would actually be very interesting if the king could be killed by the petard. But I don't think it would benefit the league overall. So we got Mighty Space Fruit. He is, aka Biscuits, he is playing as the red poles. And we have Leon's picked up some sheep over here. So we got Leonovu, a.k.a. Lamarcus Lawliet, and he's playing as the Blue Burmese. So Blue Burmese implies that Leon is probably planning some kind of fast castle into unique unit. Maybe he reasons that, with this kind of protection, he's got one of his avenues of attack pretty well covered by this tower. We can take a look and see what that tower's line of sight is. Yeah, the tower covers most of this area. So I'm thinking maybe Leon is planning on just kind of defending his base from attack in this direction. Maybe he'll come over here and kind of wall this up. It is Oasis. Now there's the monument. I don't know how big of a deal the monument is going to be on this map this time. As you guys know, there's a bunch of forest here. So unlikely that people will chop through this forest, or maybe Siege Onager cut through this forest, or Khmer Ballista Elephant cut through this forest to get to the monument. Not very likely. Just because there's so many other ways to die. But it is a possibility. It is possible. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. So, look at this. Leon, he's got sheep for days. And Biscuits, what's Biscuits doing? Let's talk about the Poles a little bit. Poles are actually surprisingly good as an archer civilization. They basically get all of the upgrades except for the final armor upgrade for arbalisters. And that's pretty attractive because you can, if you wanted to do a late game crawl as Poles, if you're on a map like Oasis, that's kind of easy to wall and you can't get good raiding damage in with your cavalry, it is perfectly legitimate, albeit a little bit gold expensive, to go into Obuk, which is their unique unit, and then Arbalister. So the Obuk goes and it fights melee units in front of it and peels off the armor with their pickaxe-like implement, their warhammers, if you will. And then that leaves exposed parts, little soft tissue for the Arbalister arrows to more easily penetrate and deal damage. But here comes the mighty Space Fruit now with some villagers, and what's he up to? Better keep an eye on him. He's got this petard here. This petard, I don't think this petard can blast through the stone wall all by himself. I guess we're going to find out. But Biscuit's already making a charge at the fortified tower. Fortified tower does not have ballistics, and boom. No, the petard does manage to get in, and the villagers now are fighting the tower. The tower has no ballistics, and Biscuit's just going to wall this up to make it less convenient for his opponent to send a relief force. Leon has all the sheep in the world. He's probably was feeling great until this happened. But Biscuit's villagers are going to shank down the tower. And with the tower gone, Leonovu is defeated. Biscuits is victorious in this first game. So Biscuits showing us that this tower could be easily cheesed. And he wasn't the only person that used this strategy. So we actually had to add an update where we put a small ring of palisade walls immediately around this tower to prevent that strategy. Because we want the game to be a little bit more involved than that. But the main concern was that sometimes with these weird settings, there's a bug in the game where you don't get an attack notification. And maybe Leon didn't even get the notification that the petard was being used here like this. And he wasn't able to send anything in time. I mean, not that he would have really had much time. I'm not sure. But either way, Biscuit's demonstrating that the tower is a very vulnerable point and probably the easiest way to kill somebody so far. So we'll take a look at the statistics, where there's probably not going to be very much to see. No units killed, no units lost. One building was razed by Biscuits, and it was the fortified tower. Leon with more resources and more efficient economy than Biscuits. Probably because he didn't send a horde of villagers to attack the tower, but it doesn't really matter. Leon had more map explored as well. But Mighty Space Fruit with one research. He actually got Loom. That was it. That was his only technology. Alright, let's see if we can get a little bit more variety out of the second game. So remember, this is the second game in their set, so Leon is going to be wise to Biscuits. He's going to know that this strategy of cheesing the tower with villagers could be possible. The map has not been updated yet because they are just They were shortly afterward playing their second game already. Alright, so Leon gonna explore with his king. He's gonna explore with his petard. He is playing as the blue Georgians, and Mighty Space Fruit, aka Biscuits, is playing as the red Cumans. Now, Cumans could be a popular choice for this map, or for this league in general. Don't pick Cumans because you want a feudal boom, right? Don't do it. This is a sudden death victory condition, right? Actually, Biscuits is somewhat... I don't want to say he's in trouble here, but the vast majority of his resources are on one side of his base. So, like, an opponent builds a castle here, and he's done for. You know, he's not really able to take resources. I guess there are some neutral resources scattered throughout the rest of the map. Couple neutral resources up here. But Biscuits needs to be very careful to defend this area. He's got a boar chasing his villager in. And I don't know that Biscuits is going to attempt the same thing. I think Leon is pretty smart to it. However, now that the monument is in play, Biscuits is going to come here and pick up the monument. Leon is under no obligation to take the monument back until the last minute. Because Biscuits, as you can see, is not getting a resource trickle from the monument, and that is as it should be. Otherwise, the game would be too snowbally. Let's take a look at Leon's map here. So he's got a gold up in this region, and then he's got most of his other minerals here too, so he's got kind of a similarly bad map. This map is Salt Marsh, by the way. Jasuki helped us out extensively with this map. In fact, he pretty much remade it. But he used kind of like the trees and the bamboo and kind of a classic style. Not really a lot of reeds on the map. He preferred more of a tropical East Asian kind of look, which is fine. But he did mix in some of this muddy shallow and some of the brown water, which is fun. Okay, so Leon marching around with a petard. Let's take a look at Mighty Space Fruit's point of view. Mighty Space Fruit, aka Biscuits, has not even found his opponent yet. He hasn't scouted him. Got to be careful when you're scouting with this king. Do not want to die. And what's Biscuits doing? So anyway, we talked a little bit about the Cumans, right? Don't pick the Cumans because you want a Cuman boom on this map. But the choice of Cumans should be very telling to Leon. Like Leon, he's a 1900 player, so he should know that my opponent is no fool. My opponent is upper 1700s. And he knows that sudden death means he can't build a second town center and take advantage of Cuman bonuses. Economic bonuses, at least. So there must be some other reason to pick the Cumans. And indeed, here it is. The Cumans have access to the Siege Workshop and Battering Rams. They also have, in the Feudal Age, and they also have cheaper stables and archery ranges in the Feudal Age as well. So Cumans can really pile on the Feudal Age pressure if they want to. Petard gets hit by an arrow here. He's got 2 pierce armor. The base attack of this tower is 8. So it does 6 damage, and that all checks out. So Leon building himself a Georgian mill here. The Georgians still have to build mills, even though they get this mobile drop site, this mule cart. So it's great for replacing. It's great for replacing. Well, you know, I guess it's. You can't put berries in it, but you can put wood, so it replaces the lumber camp. You can put minerals in it, so it replaces a mining camp. And I believe that you can put hunted meat in it, so it replaces, well, a mill. But it doesn't replace the mill for berries. And I guess Leon, maybe he wants to build a market at some point when he gets to the Feudal Age. So he knows that his opponent controls the monument, but he's totally fine with that. There's plenty of time to react. Fortunately, Leon not finding his turkeys here. Alright, so Leon is going to build a stable. He is Georgians. He has just reached the Feudal Age, and he is going to scout rush his opponent, which is pretty smart, I think. Could potentially get a lot of damage in here. The distance on the map is a little bit bigger. Now, Biscuits is sending a couple of villagers forward. I'm not exactly sure what these villagers are for. It doesn't look like he's attempting to cheese this, Maybe Biscuits figured, well, you know, my opponent's not going to fall for it again. Even though it's stone walls, and even though he could probably break through, his opponent is making scouts. Now, Biscuits does not know that his opponent is making scouts. He doesn't really know where his opponent is exactly. He hasn't scouted the town center. He's got some jaguars attacking his villagers. He pulls the jaguars within range of the tower and then fights them, which is smart. And, oh, he creates a spearman. But that spearman is inside of the wall, so he has to delete it. That is unfortunate. Or he's just going to make more. He's actually not going to delete the wall, which is smart. Alright, so Biscuit's coming over here for presumably a sneak building of some kind. And he can see from the monument that Leon is sending scouts over here. So Biscuits has found these sheep, but he actually hasn't moved them under his town center yet. He probably should. Leon is going to find these sheep and take them. Yep. So Leon converting the sheep, and he moves them away. This is a tournament game. His opponent just cheesed him with some villagers. So Leon's not playing nice. He does not want to give Biscuits these sheep. But Biscuits should really build a house here. I'm not exactly sure what he's waiting for. Maybe he figures there's enough villagers here and they're strong enough. Maybe there was a weak villager here, so he decided to build these palisade walls. Leon massing up the scouts that he needs. Biscuits has come in here with a spearman. Let's check the fog of war. Biscuits has also built a house to kind of give him some vision in this area. Now, a house would tell his opponent that he was up here with villagers. So it would still be a big tell for his opponent. He's got a spearman here fighting a villager, and Biscuits is going to build a siege workshop tucked away right in that corner. Let's see what Leon can see. Yeah, Leon doesn't know about it. He doesn't know that that siege workshop is going up. Biscuits is sending some more spearmen to this location to support the construction of this in case Leon finds it, because Biscuits knows that Leon has scouts, and Leon has been raiding his base. I don't think Leon has gotten any villagers. I haven't seen it, but Leon does have map control in the sense that Leon is in Biscuits' base with military that Biscuits doesn't really want to fight. Leon trying to keep this archer alive, but the jaguar finishes it off. So and Leon found Biscuits' petard. I think Biscuits was planning on using this petard later, but Leon's going to blow it up. Okay, so Leon has kind of rallied his forces. He's cleared the jaguars out of the way. Somehow Biscuits has control of these sheep. I'm not really sure how that happened because Leon was just running through here. And Leon is going scouts and archers. So Leon interprets this and he says, you know, I'm not going to give my opponent any chance. I'm going to go all in on feudal military. And it's forcing Biscuits to throw up a tower to defend his economy. Now he does have some spearmen, but Leon's got an archer here. So he can force... Biscuits can force Leon away with the scouts, but eventually Leon's going to get enough archers to where he can drop spearmen pretty quickly. But Leon still does not know about Biscuits' dastardly plan. Biscuits has a siege workshop back here. It looks like it's garrisoned with some things. Let's check out. Actually, it's got to be garrisoned with a ram at least. But it has 3 rams in it. And I think Biscuits is going to build one more. Yep. So he's going to build another ram, and he's going to mass as many rams as he can. And I think Biscuits is going to go for the town center charge with these rams. He's going to hope that his opponent is sufficiently distracted at his base. Leon microing back. He's going to kill this spearman in front, and he's got another spearman available. Biscuits with pretty much no map control. A bunch of idle villagers. He's got to send these back to the wood line. Looks like he's small walled this in, but this is still exposed. And Biscuits can't take gold anymore. Not really. I mean, Leon is here shooting at his gold miners. So these gold miners are going to die. But meanwhile, Biscuits is launched out with his rams and is charging down his opponent's town center. Leon reacting. He's repairing the town center. He's sending the villagers back. He's got the villagers shanking the rams. Biscuits is here with some spearmen to add to the confusion, but it's not enough. And Leon is too late. Biscuits wins a second game against Leon. Surprise attacking him with a cumin ram charge from behind. Well, that was a pretty epic win there, I would say. Well, GG. Let's take a look at the achievements. So Leon with 6 kills, 2 deaths. Biscuits had 1 kill and 6 deaths. He raised 1 building, and it was his opponent's town center. Largest army of 10, probably a bunch of spearmen, and at least 4 of those were rams. So probably 4 rams and 6 spearmen. Let's take a look at the economy here. Leon with more efficient food collection. Biscuits with more wood collected, which made sense because he was going for rams. Leon with more gold, interestingly enough. I guess he was kind of going into archers, thinking about clicking up to the next stage. Leon faster to feudal age. Basically a 7-minute, 43-second feudal age. That's lightning fast. And we don't really give them economic bonuses here, so that's just a reflection of the civilization choice. And he did not want to let Biscuits get map control to be able to tear down his tower. Both players with 33 villagers max. And the timeline is not very telling. What is telling is Biscuits' surprise attack on Leon with the rams. So now let's go into the second set. Yeah, these games are going pretty fast. I might end up doing... I might just end up doing like 3 sets, at least. Maybe even 4 sets per cast. It just depends. We'll see how long they are on average. This one could be a little bit longer. This is Ween Dinchester versus Wizanatic. This is from round 2, where Highland is the map of the round. Highland was extensively reworked by our friend and map scripter Jasuki. He helps us out a lot with these things. Jasuki has elevated the land over the water. We have assurances that there's always going to be this monument in the center. Let's take a look and see if they're playing on the most updated maps. They are. So you can see that in round 2, the update of having this palisade ring around the tower has been implemented. Okay, and then this particular generation has a second ring of palisades around the outside. They both have it. Okay, so Wizanatic is playing as the red Malay, and Ween Dinchester is playing as the blue Bengalis. I actually really like the Malay here, and here's why. Because Malay, with their lightning fast advancement times, really scary. Imagine being able to like get up to feudal age in 7.5 minutes and have scouts prowling around, or able to get to the castle age in like 16 minutes on an open map like this. It's really scary what Malay can do with that, with the really fast advance times. I don't have to use it. They can boom up. Uh-oh. Wizanatic sees this petard coming for him. You have to be careful. These villagers only have 25 HP, and the attack of the petard is 25. And so I'm not sure what this is. The petard can't lame a boar, but he can lame villagers. You can get like you can kill 2 villagers with a petard like this on a wood line. Now, I don't really think that's going to happen at this level, 2.2 to 2.3k, because these guys are pretty good and they pay attention, they see things, and the petard is pretty slow. So you can see the petard coming from a mile away. Ween Dinchester and Wizanatic are both veteran league players. Wizanatic is awesome. He's played with us every season of Alchemy League that we've had it. Wizanatic has been here for it, which is pretty cool. Does he win money every time? No. Uh-oh. Interestingly enough, Ween didn't... Oh, he was checking to see whether or not Wizanatic got loom. And Wizanatic did get loom because he was getting freaked out by this petard hanging around his wood line. And rightfully so, too, because if he did not have loom there, Ween would have totally clicked this petard in and blown up 3 villagers. So pretty smart on Wizanatic to get loom that early. But some people play just because they like the format, right? Okay, so here's Wisnatic. He's going to see if he can get some villager pickoffs with this petard. And I think he might be able to. Ween paying attention. And, oh. And, oh no. Oh, dang. Poor Wisnatic. Loon coming in just in time. And it saved the life of this lady. You know, if he had had that collision just a few seconds earlier, he would have gotten the Vil pick off from it. Well, that's unfortunate for Wisnatic. He does hurt a villager. But luckily the villager's protective clothing prevented her from dying. Alright, so Ween has docked. There's not a ton of fish in this really brown water, but there's some. It's definitely worth fighting over. Can you win via the monument? Well, yes you can. I mean, you gotta have Navy to secure the monument. I guess you could land this, technically, but it's not really designed for it. Otherwise, it's a pretty standard Highland map, right? Crossing on either side. You can wall off the crossings if you want. Ween's petard is still alive. He's kind of... I think he's probably just keeping it for that purpose. Now, petards could get a hill bonus, so maybe if he hits these villagers who are fishing, he can actually kill something. I don't know. We'll see if he attempts it. It's kind of weird that explosions... You know, demolition ships, petards, that sort of thing can get hill bonuses, but it's just how it works in Age of Empires. Now, is Ween going to make Navy? He's not making any Navy yet. But he did just discover Wisnatic's dock. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay, Wisnatic's just building another lumber camp. A little bit more forward. Guess he can't really make Navy, can he? He's not in the feudal age yet. So 20 villagers, Ween Dinchester is going up. Let's see if Wisnatic is clicked up. Wisnatic has clicked up. And he's clicked up at 19 villagers. But he's got 23 pop overall. He's building a mining camp. And he needs to build a house. Looks like he's going to be housed. Alright, he is in the feudal age. Ween was considering hitting these villagers, but decides not to. Wait! Oh, no. He's just watching them. Alright, Fire Galley from Wisnatic. I mean, it makes total sense. The water meta is still gonna hold out. Ween adding a second dock. It's like Wisnatic just shanked the petard a little bit and then went to building a house. Fireship coming to sink some fishing ships. But Ween is in the feudal age now, so Ween will be making ships of his own. And he's going to start out a little bit behind, but he has 2 docks working. Looks like Wisnatic has not found Ween's fishing ships yet. I don't really know what he's waiting for. He should go look for them. I guess he figures that Ween already has a fire galley, maybe, or he figures that Ween already moved his fishing ships away. Ooh. And Wisnatic gathering some militia. I'm not really sure what the militia are for. Because the crossing is right here, right? To get to Ween's town, Wisnatic has to go this way. Does Wisnatic not know about that crossing point? Oh, he does. He knows about it. And he has not queued up Man-at-Arms yet. He's going to repair the fire galley. And he needs to repair this other fire galley. Actually, luckily for him, Ween pulls back because another fire ship has just popped out. Ween has been on 2 docks for longer than Wisnatic. Okay, Wisnatic marching... Nope. Okay, here he is. He's going to march across with the militia. Maybe he's cautious about demolition ships, but I don't think it's a big deal here. I doubt Ween even knows that these militia exist. Let's go to Ween's point of view. So there are some militia marching across here. This way. Yeah, here was Wizenatic's militia. Ween doesn't know about it. I don't know what these militia are going to do. Could have been just kind of like a part of some extra units he's got, or some extra resources. He's just going to put them to work. Ween has made an archer. Probably preemptively made an archer just for defense. Oh no, Wizenatic. He's going to fight this. That villager gets away with 1 HP, which is again unfortunate for Wizenatic. Ween is also here in force with the fire galleys. Wizenatic trying to keep his navy alive, but Ween outnumbers him. He is going to get a massive demolition raft hit, though. Sinks at least 2 fire galleys, but he's still outnumbered. Needs more demolition rafts. Wizenatic actually, I think, is out of fishing ships. Yeah, he doesn't have any fishing ships left. So then contesting water is just a matter of killing Ween Jinchester's fishing ships, and Ween has 2 up here. Ween's got his petard waiting for something. Maybe the petard is going to blow up a building if Wizenatic starts building a building. Maybe he's going to be like, oh, you know, there's a market, I'll blow that up. Cause my opponent to waste some resources. It's probably a pretty logical thing to do. Or it's just for surveillance. To see when his opponent builds a blacksmith or a market or something. Assuming that he would build it around here. I don't think petards have really great line of sight, though. No, not really. Or he just forgot about it. He could have just forgotten about it. I mean, guys at this level get distracted. This is a hard game. Alright, Ween resolving that he's going to wall off this side. He hasn't really made any effort to wall this crossing, or this crossing. I would think that would be the easiest thing to wall, instead of all of this. You know, if you really want to wall, just wall the crossing. But this is, I suppose, a little bit more secure, because this will tell him if his opponent uses a transport ship and lands, and tries to ambush him in that way. So Wizenatic's got some stuff going on in this dock. Let's see what it is. He's rebuilding his fire ship navy. He's got 3 docks now. He's building a demolition raft. He's got 3 fire ships, building another one. He's got 2 fire galleys and building another one. So Ween just going to stand here humorously next to the king. The petard cannot kill the king. Petard only has 25 attack and the king has 75 health. But it's sort of humorous to see him standing there. Wizenatic fighting this archer off. Ween looking for a weak villager, I think, to kill with this petard. There is one right here. He could kill this gold miner. I wonder if that's what he's going for. The archer is 30 HP. He can't even kill the archer. He just blows up there. Injures this lady. Alright. Ween decided he has no further use for that petard, and if it's going to die anyway, might as well blow it up. But he must have figured that this villager was too well protected. Like there's the corner of the gold right here, so he can't get to it that way, and then he'd have to walk past all of those villagers. So that's probably why he didn't go for it. Alright, so Wizenatic chasing Ween off now. He'd probably go for these fishing ships. I'm not... Alright, yeah, Ween withdrawing the fishing ships. Wizenatic with a big fire ship army. Demolition raft here. The demolition raft going for a big clumped up juicy target, though. Chasing these fire ships away. I think that was a decent hit. Ween is castle age now, and Wizenatic calls the GG. So actually, Ween winning without completing any of the other objectives. Just winning because his opponent resigned. Wizenatic was behind on the water, and he couldn't quite keep up with Wien. Let's take a look at the achievements here. Because Malay can get up pretty fast, and Wizenatic was not too far off. But Wien with a much better kill-to-death ratio than Wizenatic. Wien had more food collected, significantly more, almost 1,000 more. And Wizenatic had about 100 more wood collected. Wien also collected more stone and gold. 300 more stone and about 100 more gold. Wizenatic was first to Feudal Age, but was not able to use that to his advantage. And Wien was the only one to get to Castle Age. Wien explored more of the map, and he researched more technologies. 5 more villagers than Wizenatic. Alright, let's take a look at the second game. So, Goths versus Turks on Yucatan. Let's go. Alright. So, we have in the blue, playing as the Goths, Wien Dinchester. This is our remade Yucatan map. Fortified tower, inside of a second ring, palisade wall, and then an outer, harder ring of stone walls. And then Wizenatic is playing as the Red Turks. So let's talk about Turks versus Goths. Well, first of all, you know, this monument on Yucatan doesn't have the same kind of fairness emphasis that Highland has. You know, the canals on Yucatan are not really as continuous or dividing as the river on Highland is. You know, somebody could get around this way. Somebody could, I guess, in this case, get around this way. There's a shallow crossing here. There are somewhat loose connections on Yucatan that kind of connect the players a little bit better. Yucatan is a pretty simple map. It's just basically like 98%. Your base terrain is water, and then you fill the rest with 98% player land. So it basically starts from here, and it grows out, and it takes most of the stuff with a bias or a preference to having long, kind of unfilled sections instead of like one really long, narrow section, if that makes sense. Just the way that the lands fill in create these canal shapes. The only difference, I think, the only thing that I added in addition to, you know, the extra rules and the fortified tower and such, was these wet beach, the wet sandy beach, because I thought it was pretty weird to have dry white sand on Yucatan. I think of like wet when I think of Yucatan, so it made a lot of sense to have a wet beach here. But I didn't want to make it rock, and I didn't want to make it gravel, because I felt that, oh, what was that? Did they just blow up each other's petards there? I saw a flash. I don't know what that was. I guess we'll never know. Oh no, here's a petard. Wizenatic's got his petard that's still alive. I'm sure Wien's petard is around somewhere. Alright, so Wien is preparing some militia, some Gothic militia. Now, there's a lot of food on Yucatan. It's basically got double the food, if you will. It's got double the berries, it's got double the hunt, it's got double the turkeys. I don't know what 2 militia do, but they could catch Wizenatic by surprise. Take a look from Wizenatic's point of view. Oops. He's got 2 militia on him. Now Wizenatic has already gotten loom, so he's not terribly afraid of these militia. Wien bringing his king in with the intent of blocking this villager's escape. But Wizenatic sent some other villagers, and he does not want Wien getting through with more Gothic militia. He attacks the king. The king is a good scout. He's fast. He's got a lot of health. He doesn't have any attack, but that's okay. Turks are more of the late game civilization, of course. So I don't really think that Wizanatic wants to take too many fights early. He might go scouts, because Turks get a scout bonus. But I don't think he really wants to fight Wien Dinchester in the feudal age. So Wien Dinchester, he's put 2 on gold, and those are mining from here. So he's probably on his way up to the feudal age. No, he's not. But 2 is the number of villagers on gold required to sustain constant militia production, or militia line production. So Goths kind of get free arson. And Wizanatic walling these guys in and rebuilding the house. So now they're all walled out, because he built a second line of walls here. And he might repair it from time to time. Just because this is a big investment for Wien, right? To make 5 militia and then have them do nothing except stand here and attack this house. So if Wizanatic wanted to, if he were feeling cheeky, he could wall from the outside, but I don't really think he's gonna do that, because that would be a long walk, and there's no telling if you'll encounter an enemy militia here. And looks like Wien is pumping out the militia one at a time. This is just endless Gothic militia here. Figures his opponent can't get up to Castle Age, and boom, he's gonna wall this out. This Petard is actually injured. Wonder what the story for that was. Okay, Wizanatic made a militia and then ejected. It was inside of his walls, so he had to delete a wall segment and walk outside a little bit. Oh, look at this! Wizanatic trying to make himself a little Wien Dinchester militia army petting zoo. One villager is going to go down. And somehow this militia got inside of these walls. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. He should fight it with these villagers, though. Okay, this militia is going to go down. And then he can get back to work. Now, the palisade walls have more melee armor than the houses do. So it's easier to keep them alive and to constantly repair them. I don't think coming out here is a good idea, though, for Wizanatic. But Wien Dinchester with 8 militia. Wizanatic trying to trap them again, but Wien's like, no, don't do that. And he tears the palisade wall down. And he continues his rampage, looking for a softer target. So Wizanatic just reaping the food bounty of this map. He could actually get some pretty good luck by walling to the edge here and to this forest here, because there's a nice little pocket here with gold, stone, 2 golds actually, a stone. He really should wall this off. There's no reason to let Wien walk in here. And you know Wien's going to. But maybe Wizanatic is microing somewhere else. Let's see what Wizanatic's understanding of the pocket is. So Wizanatic actually does not know that this is a pocket. So I guess he's just not invested enough in this area. Maybe he doesn't see its strategic importance. Wien with 8 militia, which is kind of ridiculous in Dark Age. But then again, this is a ridiculous setting, so can't really blame him. And Wizanatic going to build an archery range and a blacksmith now that he's in Feudal Age. Wien has been housing him, so he's got to rush up another house here. And Wien has gotten man-at-arms. So these are now man-at-arms, which is kind of terrifying. This is a lot of Gothic man-at-arms. I haven't seen... Actually, to tell you the truth, I have not seen like a solid Gothic man-at-arms rush in a long time. So this is actually really entertaining for me to watch, even if it's not so entertaining for Wizanatic to play. Alright, so Wizanatic has plugged this back up. Wien is trying to get in over here. Yeah, stone walls are the right call. Throw down some stone wall foundations. And as long as he can keep this archery range alive... Uh-oh. Wien trying to get in here. He's got to run away. Wizanatic is able to wall that just in time. As long as he can keep the archery range up, he can build enough archers to fight off Wien Dinchester. Now, Wien is withdrawing here. I don't know that Wien knows that that's a dead end. can go to Ween's point of view. No, he doesn't. So for all Ween knows, he could slip through the trees back here. And is Ween just continuing to make man-at-arms? It looks like it. He's got one that just popped out of the barracks. I think he might be done making man-at-arms, though. He's got 7 man-at-arms outside the base and 6 man-at-arms inside the base. And Wizenatic has 3 archers that's fighting off this horde. And I think he's going to make a run for it. Yeah, he's making a run for it. Wizenatic trapping him, so then Ween just has to fight the gate instead. Now he's just going to fight the archers, because he's kind of surrounded. Wizenatic's hopping as king in the town center, not taking any chances, which is a good idea. I mean, these man-at-arms are still dangerous. Wizenatic now has the archers to kind of chase them around. And I guess if he's not careful, he could lose half of this army, maybe even all of it. So Ween's just looking for maximum value fight here. So Ween deciding he's going to come down here and he's going to fight this instead. I guess Ween hasn't realized. Okay, he sees the opening now. I think he sees the opening now. Or he's just using the man-at-arms to draw the tower's arrow fire. And he hasn't even scouted that this is actually open. These man-at-arms could like rip through this palisade. And they could offer a serious challenge to the fortified tower. Now, Wizenatic should be like totally trying to block this off and sending reinforcements. Yes, he is. Alright, so Ween sees this now. He's like, get out of my way. Attacks the militia. Try to get in here. And sees the archers coming. Decides to engage the archers first. Drive the archers off. And then decides, nah. I don't have enough guys left. But if he had not attacked this wall, if he had scouted this opening here, it could have been a different story. So he's just going to use these man-at-arms to drive these archers away. And Ween is headed up to the castle age now. He's actually made even more man-at-arms, if you can believe that. He's getting long swordsmen. He's getting squires, so they're a little faster. And Wizenatic's main base is secure. He's built archers, but Wizenatic does not know about Ween's longsword army. Ween getting the armor as well. He's sending a forward villager. Actually, this villager's going to die to the Jaguar, I think, because the villager wasn't paying attention. Oh, nope, the longsword comes in and saves her at the last minute. She has 2 HP. I don't think this siege workshop is necessary. I think that Ween can just swing down here and destroy the tower. Maybe he doesn't know. We haven't seen Ween go for the towers before. I think Wizenatic does know, though, because Wizenatic deployed... Yeah, Wizenatic's deploying these archers. He saw Ween come by with longswordsmen. And now he sees that the longswordsmen are just going to dive his town center, so he sends them up here instead. So Wizenatic needs to send everybody back to the town center. But maybe he makes the mistake of not walling in front of the town center. Repairing the town center, but it's not enough, and Ween destroys it, winning the game. So GG, well played. Wizenatic with a slight mistake. All he needed was 4 more stone walls, and then he didn't have to worry about this at all. You know, he could have focused his effort down here. But Ween, maybe noticing that Wizenatic left this town center open, decided to reroute his long swordsman up here and destroy the town center instead. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. So those are some pretty entertaining games, and this cast only lasted about 45 minutes. So I'll probably be doing 3 per cast instead of the usual 2 sets, but we'll see. I like to feature a unique map every time. I don't like to do the map repeats. So we might just have quicker videos and that's it. We'll see. We'll see. I do have more to do today, though. That's not related to casting the league. So I am going to end the stream here. Thanks for stopping by, Cookie Pirate. Really appreciate it. And stay tuned, because we're going to have some more Alchemy League content coming soon. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch you later.